I was working as a clerical assistant for the city of Cambridge, and I had a honkin' huge vertigo attack that it would last about 10 days, and then it would hit me again after 2 weeks. So I just start to be up and stumbling and still hanging onto walls, and then I would have other vertigo attacks, and I didn't expect to be off work even 2 weeks, let alone now it's almost 5.5 years. So I ended up calling David Scher's office. Actually, I got it out of the Yellow Pages. When I applied for long-term disability, they made a comment that I logged in my beady little brain, and they wanted to know how come I hadn't applied previously for long-term disability. Why did I wait until the 17th week? And I'm thinking, well, I did not expect to be off work this length of time, and then I thought that doesn't bode well for me applying. And they sent back and denied it, so I wrote a letter in and they denied that, and I thought, you know what, I can't fight insurance companies by myself. And I think it was actually the comment that they had made regarding why did you wait so long? For someone who's off work and ill, this was not a planned illness. I had no idea that this was going to be something that's going to affect my life. At this point, I mean, it's been 5.5 years, and so it looks like it's going to be something that I'm going to have to deal with forever. And I just thought, this is ridiculous for you to get mad at me for not applying. Like, to me, if you apply when you've been off work for 6 weeks, you're not planning on going back. Like, I couldn't wrap my head around what they were trying to say to me. It's going to cost me a small fortune to even come and talk to a lawyer. That was the main thing that was really scaring me. But when I did get in contact with David Scher Associates, they were just made me feel calm, even over the phone. They said I would have to come in and I would have to meet. And if David didn't, and he would be very honest and say, yes, he thinks I have a case, or no, he doesn't think I have a case. And if I were to come in and he said, no, you don't have a case, there was no fee involved in that. And so that relieved me, and I talked it over with my husband, and we came in. One, David Scher Associates.
Okay.
Number one, at the time we were living in Cambridge, and I thought, not to diss any lawyers closer, I mean, Kitchener's not that far from where we were, but I thought if Toronto lawyers, I don't know, I thought they may have more experience in dealing with things, and the thing that really interested me the most was in the Yellow Pages ad was the disability claims, and that's what I was fighting for, was long-term disability. And I thought, well, after speaking, as I said before, after speaking to the people who answer the phones at the front, I thought I got nothing to lose by coming in and finding out if he thinks this is a viable thing to do. I would be in a lot of serious trouble. Like this day and age, you cannot live on one income. It's just not a doable thing. And I wasn't working because, as my famous line my husband always says, I quote, is I wasn't a multimillionaire's wife who got bored and so decided to get a job. I was working because it takes 2 incomes to support a family. And at the time that I got ill, we still had a teenager at home, and with him wanting to go to college, and we're thinking, oh my goodness, how do you cope with all this? So it was really a blessing that I was able to find David Scher. I was always very reassured and just told to tell my story, tell the truth as to what has happened to you. The lawyers, David and one of his associates that we were working with, they were just fabulous in making me feel comfortable, even though it gets nerve-wracking when you're sitting there in front of an insurance company, because you do have to go and you get grilled by an insurance company, and that in itself was quite an extensive, I guess, interesting thing. But I always felt very confident because the associate that was assigned to my case just made me feel very positive that if I said exactly what was going on, we would be able to get through it, and we did. And as nerve-wracking as it was, you know, it's been good. From when I first saw David till the settlement, because I did get a settlement, it was about not quite a year. So considering that I'd already been off work and been so ill, to have someone fighting in your corner just made the whole process much easier. And like I said, I am very thankful. And just being able to feel validated that I am sick and there's something going on here. There was no definite diagnosis as to what was causing the symptoms that I was experiencing. And that was the biggest hang-up, although I was assured even if I'd had a diagnosis, they probably still would have said no. They're kind of trained to do that. So when you get a no and you feel that you're not going to be able to fight this thing, you get overwhelmed. But being able to have that support, getting the settlement, it enabled us to pay off some outstanding debts that we had, which was a big relief. And, you know, we've managed. So, in the aftermath, I mean, we were able to move from Cambridge, and it was kind of a difficult move. Our oldest son and his wife are still in that general area. They live in Kitchener. That was the only thing that made it difficult, was having to move away from them. But we're not that far away. We're up north. We're 2 hours from there. And it was distressing to me, because to move anywhere within the boundaries of Cambridge, I would have to drive by the office that I always used to work in. And that in itself was very disheartening to me. And we've been able to move up into the country, and for peace of mind, it's been phenomenal. Just being able to not see your neighbors, just being out in the country, and it's been great. And in the interim, both my parents and my in-laws have also moved up to the vicinity, so I'm not far away from anyone. So it's really good.